Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram, the first institute of impeccable wisdom. Let's talk of the story of Lord Dattatreya, which is one of the gods which represent three heads of Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh in one body, with Nandi as a carrier and four dogs as faithful compatriots. What is in this particular picture from which we can learn to be perfectly healthy, wealthy, wise and happy? This is the story which I have seen. Let me now explain what is the story which our Indian scriptures talk about it. Lord Dattatreya. Story goes like this. Once upon a time, we had lot of rishis, maharishis, brahma rishis, and I have added a new concept of Akhand Rishi. The people who were interested in understanding universal nature. Rishi is a student and Maharishi is an equipped like PhD student, and Akhand Rishi is the one who understands universal nature, and Akhand Rishi is the one who understands entire subject. In the light of Rishi, Maharishi, Brahma Rishi and Akhand Rishi, I am talking about Rishi Atri and his wife Anusuya. Many people call her Anusuya, but I prefer to call it Anusuya because Anu means atom, element. Ana also is associated with food, is also close to atoms and elements only. Even names of good olden days had a meaning in everything about the characteristics of the individual person. When I say Anusuya, she is the one who understands atoms, elements and other things of the nature, in other words, Rig Veda, Aitreya Upanishad and many other things. And Aitreya Upanishad and Rishi Atri, I also believe, belong to the same class. He was a great Rishi, done a wonderful job. In this picture you can see a Dattatreya picture on top. Down you can see Maharishi Atri and Anusuya together doing yag and then talking about in the presence to the world how to lead a perfectly healthy, wealthy, wise and happy life. And this is the concept I am going to talk about it. Now the story goes, Anusuya, which I do believe, as I told you, is the integration of atom. Atom mean Anu Vidya mean knowledge of atoms. Periodic table represents that. She must have had the knowledge of Rig Veda and Aitreya Upanishad, which is associated with Rishi Atri, and she was devoted, and I do believe even today females can make husbands do much better intellectual work than husbands alone without, or man alone without the support of a Shakti on the other side. I make it clear. Shakti is 61.803%. She is very dynamic, very vibrant and full of energy, multidimensional. Belongs to the right side of the brain. Where the male side is logical, mathematical and 38.1966%. I want the world to understand only a combination of male and female put together can do wonders. But Shakta is the source, the core, protons and neutrons, and Shakti is electron, dynamic. This combination together only can make an atom, and that is the knowledge which is there in Rig Veda and also Aitreya Upanishad, which I have already explained about it. And this is their work, and as a result, her name is Anusuya and his name is Atri. And Dattatreya is the one who devoted to Atri's family. That's where the name comes from. Datta means given source to it or became devoted to them. That's it. And she was very pious, chaste consort of Atri. She was beautiful, honest, benevolent. She was a living goddess on herself. Everybody looked up to her, and that way she was admired by everyone in the universe, including Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. And once Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh in front of Saraswati, Lakshmi and Mahakali were talking very high about Atri's devotion, oneness, consort, chaste qualities, which made her like Savitri, perfect in the core. But some of the goddesses, Saraswati, Lakshmi and Parvati said, how can a mortal human being be better than gods? Was something. And then that's the time which I would like to bring it together. These gods and goddesses represent fraction of the human being, whereas a mortal human being in a physicalized human being has all the gods and goddesses within the body itself. That is something which I experience. What is the Rig Veda, Aitreya Upanishad and all the concepts are within the human body itself. As a result, I say Pindant, the human body, and Brahmant, the universe, they are identical. So what is there is only human being can evolve, rise and become enlightened and empowered over a period. Even gods and goddesses, having experienced the beauty of Saraswati, Mahalakshmi, Mahakali and others, have to take birth in human form to add more value and come to Devyank level. I have explained the same thing in my reincarnation. Even I do believe I had taken 22 births, again going through the life, then death and rebirth to reach the level that I am able to give Devyank for the first time in the history of mankind through reincarnation of 22 different levels. That is another beautiful video for anybody and everybody to look at it. From that angle, we human beings are far ahead. And this is a concept which I am going to explain. Even gods and goddesses, whichever form they are, at least what I understand of Sanatana Dharma, I am not talking of one god, one such. I am talking about gods and goddesses, different aspects of human consciousness. And then to prove that she was beyond everything, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh were asked to take birth in human form, go and test her chastity and find out that she was absolutely great. With that concept, they come to the earth, take birth in 3 forms. Please remember, this is a story and I make it very clear. I don't see that happening as such. But information in Puranic stories were always given story form so that we can relate it in human form. Let that also be very clear. Now in this particular picture, Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh are shown to come in Brahman form to her. And they approach and say, we are feeling very hungry, we need food, could you please give us food? And she says, fine, please come home. But these people were very smart to go there only when she is alone at home. Maharishi Atri is not there. So it was easy for them to go, they go inside. After going and sitting down and saying, okay, now food, then they do tell her, please prepare food without clothes on. We want the purity of every consciousness. We don't want you to do that with clothes and without anything. Then she says, I'm sorry, you are adults, I cannot do that in front of you. If you become small children, I would do it. That's why she ordered them become small children, and then I would make the food, serve you the food, and make you happy to get that you have got good food to your satisfaction. I can do that. That is another beautiful aspect. You are adults, I am adult, you become small children without any consciousness of sexuality or otherwise, then I would serve you like my children as such with all the compassion on the earth. That's a beautiful wisdom given. There is a difference in a small infant up to 7 years, where I keep saying the child is not aware of anything of opposite gender in sexual terms at all. So small children are innocent, divine in nature, they are perfect. That's the first message which I learnt from this particular story. Then you can see the 3 small children are there. She has served them. Meantime, you see Maharishi Atri coming home, and then she tells all the 3 of them, now that you are fully satisfied, you are like my children, I want all the 3 of them together as one body, so that I have my child, which is equivalent to Brahma, equivalent to Vishnu, equivalent to Shiva, as a living divine being in complete form. You can literally call it Cosmic Purusha. And this is what makes me realize Rig Veda talks of the concepts with all the things. But when come to Atri, it is Cosmic Purusha, which Maharishi Atri is writing about it. And a beautiful video I have given where no one in the world has been able to understand how Cosmic Purusha, Lokpalan, could get the food through apana or navel, not through anything else. And I can tell you all the books I had read about Aitreya Upanishads, and particularly the food coming through up, inside the body through apana, not through any of the other seven senses, was amazing. And everybody has gone, they are not able to decode that particular concept. And I'm glad to put together, I could tell them that it is navel and it is the umbilical cord which they are talking about. This is a growing child in 3 trimesters in the first, second and third, is what beautifully written in Aitreya Upanishad, which is a reflection of Rig Veda itself. I thought that was amazing information which is there, where science and spirituality are coming together and say umbilical cord is the one which throws things out, and the thing takes things from outside. That's the reason only that the particular Cosmic Purusha could get. So it's talking about child being born in mother's womb, not a spontaneous creation of human being. And how beautifully he explained how defined that particular knowledge is, how descriptive is that, was available in Aitreya Upanishad about the beauty of Rig Veda. I said hats off, and I could decode that and say it's the umbilical cord where it's connected with navel, nabhi, inside and outside, both are through that only. I decoded the story. I am glad, and this is associated with this. And Dattatreya is the one who gave it to Atri, who wrote Aitreya Upanishad, which a copy of that, and she is the one who understood the elements both ways and created a story of Divyank, which I Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. 22 by 21 is Brahma, 10 stages is Vishnu, and 0.3419 is Shiva. And that's it, the science which I am talking about. And that particular concept has made me also understand how to find perfect anatomy, physiology and psychology to lead a perfectly healthy, wealthy, wise and happy life for myself. And I am sharing with the world so that they can also do the same thing as I believe it. Now, this is a picture I told you. 1 body, 3 heads, 6 arms and 1 Nandi and 4 dogs. This picture is a fiction story, and otherwise I think I've started talking about it. But how did I figure out the whole thing? Part of the story of Rig Veda and Aitreya Upanishad I have explained. Cosmic Purusha I have explained. I have already made a video on that and decoded that. That's one part I have already explained. Now there is something which now I'll go back to. Beginning of this, how this particular picture came to get the importance in my mind, which I am talking about. I have made a video saying first 7 years of my life I tell everybody, don't condition yourself to any formed thinking at all. Whatever is taught in schools, colleges, universities of different form, child should not be encouraged to mug, vomit or otherwise. Let the child see the entire world with open eyes. If at all somebody is very interested, encourage them to go with Divyank, my work. Otherwise, let them observe things from their inner consciousness. And I can tell you, without any conditional reading or otherwise, being an illiterate for first 7 years is an asset actually. Because the child would observe from inner soul or antaratma or kundalini, and then senses, mind, intelligence, intuition, awareness, thought processes which start from kundalini, antaratma, would be a perfect without any defect at all. That should be done for first 7 years. And then when you get initiated into Gayatri mantra, which is a perfect mantra, initiation to that makes you disciplined. In the light of what you have seen with this, And Kundalini is going to get more awakened, much more enlightened once you do initiation, because it helps you to start concentrating from inside. You start concentrating on mind to the mantra. You concentrate on the body as a tantra. And you also transform that into the symbolic form called yantra. Sanatana Dharma without yantra, mantra and tantra is absolutely not complete. And this process started in 1958, and I'm glad. 7 years, no condition knowledge, then Upanayam, Gayatri Mantra, and inner concentration, external and internal became together. Knowledge became much more easier to thereafter. Now, in the process, I could understand the Gayatri Mantra at that time given by my father was Om Bhur Bhava Swa Tat Savitur Varenyam Vargo Devasya Dhimhi Diyo Yonha Prachodhyat. This was complete mantra. Let me tell you, till I made video on Gayatri, I had absolutely no knowledge of this particular mantra. I was mechanically chanting. But at the same time, this mantra always protected me as such. Why it protected, how it protected, now we will talk about it as we proceed. Then 1991 I was initiated into simplified Kundalini Yoga, and then I wanted to start doing PhD work. This was a reflection way back between 93, 95 to 2001. This whole process was going on. But I went through certain changes. From 91 was initiation, 93 I started doing research, and 95 certain things happened which brought me awareness of inner consciousness of Kundalini and its power to teach me impeccable wisdom step by step. And in 1995, I could produce alpha frequencies of opening the eye. As a result, I challenged all the neuroscientists of the world that you are giving the information that EEG, electroencephalogram, you can produce alpha frequency from posterior brain, occipital character, pre-test, when eyes are closed, mind at rest. But when you open your eyes and thinking about it, the alpha is reduced to beta, and that goes on. Now you see the picture down. There is no alpha predominance at all after opening the eyes. But in my EEG on top, you can see alpha predominance, not beta. And you can see predominance when my concentration is on the brain. Its power is very high, phenomenal, and is more than double or triple the power, and all alphas, that too over. To start with, it was 10.5 hertz, then came to 9.4, and finally settled down to 8 hertz throughout the brain, which is not done by anyone in the world till date. But I have given that particular information. But that was a phenomenal change. But I felt I am just a common man. I am not an yogi, I am not a guru, I am not at all. I am just like any common man. How could I do it when experts who claim themselves to be yogis, experts, they are not able to do it? Because all the picture down is of the one people who have been meditating for 20 years, 30 years, claiming to be yogis of Kundalini Yoga, different forms of doing, claiming themselves to be gurus, leading the world. But they could not do. A simple man, a medical professional, an industrialist, family man, having wife, children, all the relatives as associated one could do it, but not the experts. Was phenomenal. That's the time a change brought in. And that was the question came to my mind in 95 was, I am a common person. I am able to bring alpha frequency, which is predominant, coherent, after opening the eyes, where others are not doing. Why I am able to do it? As I told you very clearly, I am a staunch devotee of Goddess Durga and Mata Vaishno Devi. They are my divine mothers. They are incarnation of each other. And the answer I got from them was through within my body as a voice of silence. Let me also make it very clear. I do not hear outside, but I can feel the experience inside what Atma is telling me. It's very subtle, but I do not know why others are not able to do. but I'm able to do, I'm able to comprehend. That was a fantastic experience. Then voice of silence from inside, which I call my Kundalini or Antaratma, indwelling soul. And the voice said, you will come back, you have come back home, you have been selected for a divine plan because you understand maths, physics, chemistry, medicines completely by now. You have all the knowledge of the external world and you are leading in everything. You are the perfect ideal to understand spirituality now. Now let spirituality and science come together as one piece so the world understand what it is. You have been chosen for that. You have come back home, just listen to this voice. Voice will tell you what to do, when to do, how to do. When you come to the stage, things will reveal to you. Have the patience. Let's move on one by one. Somehow I trusted the voice and I'm glad to put it at this stage. This kind of dialogue goes on, but all those people who have this dialogue, who are super intelligent, out of the world, they can do wonders, they are geniuses. Unfortunately, our medical profession and the people by and large who do not understand and appreciate, put them on drugs and kill them and make them vegetable. But I, being a medical doctor, I knew there is nothing wrong with me. I am not suffering from any physical health, emotional, mental or otherwise. And I did not let anybody give me any form or undermine me because I was intelligent, very powerful, very rich, very influential. I could get away with it. That's also reality. Maybe that is one of the reasons why nature chose someone who is fully equipped academically, great performance, financially rich, healthy, powerful, speaker in every way, who stands. I think my choice as the one for this work is an ideal I can understand today, because you need, even divinity wants a perfect man, perfect from A to Z in everything, to be a good instrument as a cosmic Purusha to give the world a new syllabus which is perfect from A to Z completely. The choice was wonderful. Agree. Then comes the first instruction was make a charitable trust. And that's the time I made Akhand Foundation a charitable along with my friends. And I had been a part of it. I will not go into details of that. And having done that on Vijayadashmi, that now I am again clear, making it clear. I am a great devotee of Goddess Durga. And her victory was on Vijayadashmi day, 10th day. And I believe that is the day I like to, and all my objectives are always done on that. Most probably the coming Vijayadashmi, we might start another classified YouTube video where in sequence you are going to see the impeccable wisdom for the world who are genuinely interested in that. This video will continue. That will also go as a more classified in one way. Here I am learning how to do it. There what I have learned would be more classified. That's it. Then second instruction was make a logo for Akhand Foundation. That's the time the journey actually started. In the process, through the 9 stages of development, depending on Kundalini, I made this particular syllabus. This symbol, looked at it and I was told, you have done it, you don't need to go beyond, this is done. Can you? And I, as an individual who drew this particular picture, I said it's very simple. There is nothing great in it. Then my Kundalini told me this is a graphic presentation of Gayatri Mantra for the first time in the history of mankind. It has never happened. Whatever the mantras are there in male, female form, but this is a mantra. This is the graphic presentation of Gayatri Mantra which is going to transform the whole world into new impeccable wisdom. This is that. So next day I went and got 10 books on Gayatri Mantra. What they were talking about I could explain with this mantra, and then the next instruction came to make a greeting card called Gayatri and give it to the world. Explain how Gayatri Mantra is this particular symbol. When I explained and distributed to my friends and relatives, etc., they all appreciated. It was a very good beginning, and it was also sent on registration in 1996 to Government of India. This is my copyrights, my trademarks, and I understand because I am a research scholar and publish and perish is a part of research. If you don't publish in time, somebody else publish and gets into journals, that person will get even Nobel Prize, and you are the one who started, but you haven't got it published, you might lose even Nobel Prize. That's the reality, unfortunately. But anyway, I have the copyrights with the trademarks with the government of India, and it's internationally accepted way back in 1996 itself. Then a fourth instruction was, now change this particular symbol without changing the center with a few descriptions which were given to you way back in 1992 when you were shown the light of Shunya within. That light inside and light outside is where mathematical design starts. That I thought was very enlightening, that it is not the Shunya as zero was made by Aryabhatta at a later date. It was there where creation started. The first mathematical design, all the mathematical designs are in Shunya only. It is a dot, it is a circle, it's sphere. That is zero. From there only Fibonacci sequence comes, Minglas comes. 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, 89, 144, etc. That is a sequence which is divine sequence, beautifully known, which originates from India. So it is a zero before from where it starts. But that is not zero mean empty. It is a seed which we are talking about. From that seed how life emerges. And that is the most beautiful knowledge of Sanatana Dharma. It starts with Shunya. It starts with zero. Then experience of Kundalini awakening through Swami Sukhadananda's and internalization. What something with that, these two concepts, I was asked to improvise that symbol of Gayatri into the next stage. That became Datta Gayatri. That's time I understood the core part is Dattatreya and a full part is Gayatri. Two symbols of ancient Indian wisdom came to my mind. You look at the center part with the white circle which is sun, one body. Then you can see Trishul, you can see Shank, you can see Karmandal, and you can see four green things. And of course the green light with 5 layers represent core of Shakta only, which is 38.196, and total picture is Gayatri. That's why I realize how beautiful is the knowledge of graphic presentations which can relate, can do wonders in your understanding and concept very clearly. And this goes back to 1997. And now in this particular picture you can see the 3 heads which I put on the right side, and you can see the 3 heads in the picture also. The center part and this picture is identical, and that is the science of Lord Dattatreya. I understood how precise, concise that knowledge is. The next picture in totality is that you can see entire picture and Gayatri picture is identical. 5 heads you can see in the center: Akash Kosh, Vayu Kosh, Agni, Jal and Prithvi in the center, and 10 arms are the 10 chakras you can see in the center, and you can see the flower, 12 petals on which she is waiting. It was an amazing thing how a good graphic presentation is much better than any other presentation, provided we have the knowledge, mathematical precision one by one. And keeping that in mind, I thought it was amazing how to convert Sanskrit language into graphic presentation, so there is no confusion at all. So that way this particular picture is of universe, and I call it Akhand now. This journey from beginning to this is phenomenal. Now, as I told you, having got this particular picture, animate form of gods and goddesses with human form, male, female, plants, animals, etc., was something which world has a problem. How can God be a male? How can God be a female? And that is one of the criticisms which Sanatana Dharma's symbols have it, including Dattatreya, Gayatri, Saraswati, Mahalakshmi, Mahakali, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, all the gods and goddesses. People have problem. I said, there is a problem in the world. world doesn't seem to accept it as a one in a graphic presentation. So God, can you help me convert animate into semi-animate? You have already done. Now semi-animate to inanimate, if you can convert the same concept beautifully step by step, I would say you are the all-knowing, you are divine, you are the one who has created things perfectly and done with it. And that was a starting point for the next stage. Now, having explained that in my last video, how I understood to making a Vigyan Kosh was phenomenal. Now, having given that particular information, let's go on to my dharma is impeccable wisdom, and all the information of Dattatreya is Divyank only. And the graphic presentation of Divyank is Akhand, this particular picture, which is a part of Akhand's full symbol. But this is outer is 22 by 21, the 10 pentagons, the 10 levels of power, and 5 tetragons represent 0.3419. It's the same representation of the Divyank alone. And now, this turn the picture on the left side, you have Shakta Shakti combination. Shakta is equal to 38.19, that means central part. And Shakti is 61.8. This is Divyank ratio now. First is Divyank alone. This is ratio. And I want also the world to use representation which is absolutely right. They talk about golden ratio as 1.618 or 1.61833, etc., etc. But there is no ratio, there is one number. Why call it ratio when it is only one number, 1.6180? But that is also something which I want. The whole concept is Divyank. Divyank ratio is this particular numbers. That precision is again something which world needs to avoid confusion of misconception at every level of understanding. Now Dattatreya's, as I told you, in this particular picture I am making it very clear, 3 heads. You can see Trishul and you can see Shank and also Karmandal, and all the things which are there in this particular central picture. It was very clear that Dattatreya and Akhand are so beautifully synchronized to understand what is the concept of Dattatreya and Akhand. Within that was a very enlightening experience for me, that if now, and let me again and again make it clear, I am only a student following Antaratma to do this. The guidance is not my intelligence. Guidance is from within, who is able to make an idiot like me do this wonderful job because of my faithfulness, my trust. I think it's been phenomenal. After making the inanimate form of Vigyan Kosh, I have been following only Antaratma, not any other book in the world. I stopped reading what books, and there is a question comes, my answer gets from Akash Kosh, and then I rectify in the light of the modern sciences to the world and give impeccable wisdom which no one in the world can find fault with. That's it. And next was how to understand Goddess Gayatri, how Shakti, the sun, the moon, and of course the 5 heads which are Panchbhutas, 10 arms are the 10 dimensions of Lord Surya, are 10 stages of development, and of course the whole concept of last. Everything I've understood, and I'm giving Divyank for the first time in the history of mankind. Nobody has ever done that. And I'm able to understand primarily because I'm able to understand these symbols better. I'm able to understand the depth in Veda, Upanishads and Indian books. And based on that, I've been able to translate wisdom into mathematical designs and create this stage of Sanatana Dharma saying, first stage of creation, 22 by 21, 10 stages of development, and last stage makes the complete perfect object. And this is the beauty of Sanatana Dharma's ancient Indian wisdom of symbolic language. To understand the perfect mathematics, which man-made mathematics are defective. We need to change so that every child from school, college to the university has an impeccable wisdom. I know it's going to take time for the world to accept, but I know one day entire world will say this is the wisdom which the world has got it. Now we should build research on that and lead the world to the impeccable wisdom. Now I can tell you all the knowledge of Rig Veda is Anuvidya. It's atomic knowledge of atoms, elements, molecules, compounds, cells, etc. Now coming to the Dattatreya picture, now I am making it very clear. When talk of the elements, that Lord Dattatreya represents carbon element only, not anything other than that. And now let's understand the concept of Rig Veda and Anuvidya, knowledge of atoms and elements, in the light of what we know primarily in periodic table as well as in Rig Veda and other concepts one by one. Now, as I told you, why I call Lord Shiva with Dattatreya as a main, because the concept in Dattatreya is Lord Shiva in the middle. You have Nandi, which is his vehicle, and from that point of view I do know it's Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva is known for white Nandi. At the same time, the ash which is borne by all the followers of Lord Shiva is burnt carbon, and he is also the Lord of dissolution and regeneration. Life starts with it and dissolves with it, and that is the most beautiful design of Lord Shiva. He is the Lord of dissolution and regeneration again. Brahma is regeneration, Vishnu is development, but Lord Shiva has both this. If you look at even the number which I have written, 0.34419 actually becomes 21. That is regeneration to 22 stages. So even mathematically you are coming to one uniform thing. At the same time, also saying that this carbon atom is required for biological life. There cannot be biological life without carbon. And it is 6. That's the reason Dattatreya has 6 arms. Means there are 6 elements are there in that particular picture. That's also something which I want the world to understand. All the symbol had so much of science in it, so much of mathematics in it. But to understand that, you have to be in tune with universal consciousness. Unfortunately, when you do not have, then you will think it's only imagination, etc., etc. But fact is beautiful science. So now you understand why Lord Dattatreya, Lord Shiva, is with carbon. It is ash and biological life. So let's take it that. Now, second part, I am talking about Surya, Sun, Aditya, Daksha. This particular picture is a representation of hydrogen atom only, because Sun is full of hydrogen. It's like a hydrogen bomb. From hydrogen union you get helium, which is the Aditi. Aditya's daughter, Aditya's mother is Aditi. Is again a beautiful knowledge. It's Adi Aditi come from that. And this particular picture, Rig Veda, again I am saying, periodic table, Lord Aditya or Surya represent hydrogen element. Right on the top you can see are hydrogen elements only, which unite together to form down helium-4, which is Aditi, which is the next one. The maximum amount of elements in the nature is hydrogen only. That's it. And it's the first atom in periodic table. Next comes question second one is Antaratma, the helium or Aditi or soul, which is manufactured inside the sun, and the part which comes out becomes our soul, which helps us to grow further in spiritual evolution. And all the experiences of 22 lives are stored in Karn Sharira around helium-4 only. It is a helium-4 after, if it gets from the head, comes to Muladhara, it should, at the time of death, it should leave from the head again. If 22 times that, and all the things you have used it to understand every level of solar system, you are likely to reach the level. Maybe I am talking for people may or may not believe, doesn't matter. This is a concept which is dear to me. I do believe it has taken me like that to become to the stage. So that is now second element in nature, which in abundance after hydrogen is helium only. That is again something which I want the world to understand. Now bring science and spirituality together and say this is what it is. Now the question is, after everything fell down to the earth, then the churning of ocean, Sagar Manthan, Samudra Manthan, the primordial ocean started coming. In this picture you can see all the gods and goddesses are together to get Amrit from ocean water. And what Amrit is, I don't think any description has ever given it. Let me make it very clear. It was pure water from sun, saline, to pure water which was Amrit. That's it. And along with rest of the things which appeared from primordial occasion, also part of the elements. And we will take that one by one in this to explain how beautiful is the ancient in scriptures, this symbolic representation, how much is the wisdom in that which can help us move on to higher and higher levels of understanding, create a divine mathematics, not man-made mathematics. I am only taken from, decoded from Vedas, Upanishads and given the world, not my creation, divine creation. I have added something which is 3 point last one. Anyway, now coming to Anuvidya again, as I told you, Lord Shiva is carbon, and I explained how it is used. Grey ash, which is burnt carbon, that shows that Lord Shiva's devotees use only burnt carbon as a symbol of his prasadam or blessings. I think that makes it very clear that it is carbon, carbon and carbon only. Now the next step which comes up in the whole thing is it's the methane gas. One of the things which appeared from primordial ocean, Sagar Manthan, was Kamadhenu. You can see the Kamadhenu in the middle side, and I've shown how methane symbol on one side, other side I've shown how the cow dung can be converted into gas. And I can tell you cow dung of native cod contains 61.803% methane only, and it can be used as symbol for burning. Even India has used it very clearly, cow dung burning stoves. And that is again a wisdom which shows that there is a story which is actually scientific, not an imagination at all. Now, as I told you, the next question came up was that particular 7. I told you hydrogen is 1, helium is 2, carbon is 6. The next in the line for formation of life by and large, hydrogen plays an important role, carbon plays an important role, oxygen plays an important role, and nitrogen plays. So nitrogen comes before oxygen. So we'll go to number 7, which is nitrogen. And that is what is required for making amino acids, proteins, which are building blocks. So when I say building block is a nitrogen, without carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen, carbohydrate, the proteins cannot be made. Carbon with hydrogen is methane. Carbon with oxygen, carbon dioxide. Hydrogen with oxygen is water. But carbohydrate is carbon plus hydrogen plus oxygen. But when go to amino acids and proteins, along with carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen adds up to bring amino acids. And then take to the protein. And without that you can't build the body. That is again science and spirituality are coming together. And then I say 7 is a mystic number, and that's what is 1 divided by 7 should be equivalent to 142857. I have already shown it, and this picture was a beautiful representation of that. And this is what Vigyan Chakra, and I think that is something which everybody should understand to move on step by step to the level that we bring science and spiritual together, two sides which are not understood. And unfortunately, spiritual people say upstairs is perfect, science is defective. And scientists say we are perfect, that is defective, because they don't understand. But I understand both are the two sides of the same kind. I am able to bring them into one form called spiritual science. so that we understand anatomy, physiology, biochemistry much better than what limited knowledge man-made mathematics have given to us. Now in that particular picture, how nitrogen is formed as a nitrogen cycle and added into this to form plants and proteins by and large. Is this particular picture is a proof of that. This is how nature converts, brings nitrogen down, adds into along with carbon, hydrogen, oxygen with the nitrogen to produce amino acids and proteins. Now we come to the eighth element. Goddess Durga has got 8 elements, I say again and again. And eighth element is oxygen. And oxygen is absolutely required for transforming anything. But why oxygen is very important, why I am very fond of Durga, why I am very fond of Mata Vaishno Devi is the real transformation in the entire universe, it's Agni. In Rig Veda, something which is most important is Agni. And Agni is oxygen, and without oxygen there is no fire at all. Example I have already given is, take a bowl of water, put a candle in that, take another glass, put it on top of the candle, it will burn as long as there is oxygen. If there is no oxygen, it will stop going. This is what we want to bring the bridge between science and spirituality. Let's not confuse with other energy forms. We are talking about Agni as oxygen, as 8 Bhujadhari, and that is Durga, and that is Gayatri. Transformation to Gayatri is next stage, which I am going to talk about it with 10 arms. But Durga has only 8. Now I am going to take the element to little next stage of a combination of molecules. We have spoken about hydrogen, helium, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and also carbon and hydrogen as the methane. Now hydrogen 2 and 1 oxygen is with, and here you can see a combination power of 10. That is again a beautiful. Methane has also got 10 and water has got also 10. And the beautiful thing, because Amrit is 10 and it's a polar thing, how it works is something which I have shown in this particular picture, bringing science and spirituality together, how mathematics plays an important role. Oxygen 8 plus 2 will make water, and as a result you are very close to neon. That's why it's stable. Methane is stable, this is stable. Again you have come to neon level, which has got 10 elements, and that's what I am talking about. You need to look at science and spirituality as one piece, which amazes us. How much is wisdom in all these elements, atoms, molecules, compounds and other things. They are full of mathematics. I have shown that in behavioralics. I have shown everywhere everything is mathematically based of divine nature, Devyank alone, not anything else. Now the question comes up to the next stage is about Gayatri, which has got 10 arms, and I would say is neon 21. That means 10 electrons, 10 positrons and 11 neutrons are there. And that is what it is, neon 21. Our entire universe started from this only. Before the creation, primordial space was filled with neon 21 isomers only. When they united to form neon 22 and the light, and then dissolved through 10 stages to come to hydrogen, and then rest of the elements were made thereafter. I have already explained, and that is the beauty of Rig Veda. Now science. Now at this particular stage, let me say hydrogen is the first one, helium is our Antaratma, Aditi, which helps us to become complete by itself. Then carbon plays an important role, then nitrogen plays an important role, oxygen plays an important role, then neon comes as a divine mother of the solar system. One is our insight, Antaratma. This is Baharatma, our solar system thing. This. Now it's very clear. Now we are going to give you another angle to take it to the next level, which is equally important, or which should be known. How beautiful is periodic table, how beautiful Rig Veda, Ayurveda, and one more concept. I've been talking about it. Adi Prashakti is another goddess, and I connected it with argon 40. That means 18 electrons, 18 protons, and 22 neutrons. That's the one from which originally started. Even neon 21 came out of that. Is also something which Indians have shown, but that it has got only 18 arms, not 17, 16 or other numbers. So how precise they were knew how many arms. Aditi has 2, Gayatri has 10, and Adi Praksha 18. This is the description which I want people to look at it. Now when I look at Lord Shiva's Nataraja, it has 18 firearms, not 17 and 16. It's also something of that nature is perfect. But there are people who make it with different numbers, and I say they are the defectives. Let's redo the ones which have the perfection, not anything and everything. An artist should also be careful that we should carry the wisdom for the sake of the world, so the world can benefit and move on to higher and higher levels of consciousness step by step. This is something which is very, very important. Now we'll go to the next stage. In this particular picture of Anuvidya, I am talking about periodic table, and then ninth element before neon is halogen. First one is fluoride, which was never used because it's highly destructive. It can destroy the bones, fluorosis. So hydrogen was 9 was not used. But the next in the line is chloride, which was used along with the sodium as a sodium chloride and extracellular fluid. That again speaks. Sodium is like hydrogen and chloride is a halogen. Combination together, they put together become again perfect balance. And the ratio of sodium and chloride is again Deviyank ratio only. But they become stable cube and become perfect. And how sodium atom becomes sodium ion and chloride atom becomes chloride, I had already explained. How beautiful is the one which gives it, another which gives it. So chloride gets one from sodium, and sodium and chloride combination becomes beautiful as a cubical structure and done. That's again a beautiful knowledge from that side of it. But after fluoride, chloride is used. Bromide is not used because bromide is more used for antipsychotic drugs. But the one which was used very well and from the ninth part, I am making very clear. You have 6, you have 7, you have 8, you have 9, you have 10, and you have 11, you have 17. So ninth one is only iodine used, and that is what is shown as Neelkant. Brown symbols, black vapors, and how iodine is used as update for thyroid gland, and how thyroid gland can produce thyroid hormone with the help of tyrosine, iodine, thyroglobulin, and how things are. That mystery of Neelkant is so beautifully that is not talking of poison as such, is talking of tincture iodine, povidine, iodine, and uptake of iodine to produce. As a knowledge, as a matter of fact, the knowledge which I have given in my thing on Neelkant shows very clearly even the knowledge of modern science and the hypothalamus or hypothalamus is deficient without the knowledge of this particular thing, which shows Lord Shiva is known for tapasya. It's a thermogenic, not calorigenic. It's also something which I have shown. My ancient Indian wisdom has given me a better knowledge than the modern scientist knowledge. Added those dimensions which no scientist can deny it. They know it, but they have not classified. That is also going to be a part and parcel of my work to say impeccable wisdom is all inclusive. It's a walking, talking encyclopedia. A to Z of every aspect should be given with impeccable wisdom, and that is something which I have explained in particular picture of Neelkant, that is iodine. So literally all the Anu Vidyas which Anusuya is talking about, which she knows about it, she understands Rig Veda, she understands Aitreya Upanishad, she understands the whole thing, she is able to convert Cosmic Purusha which Aitreya talks in Aitreya Upanishad and making Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh in one. It two parallel governments. Is amazing that independently they are not understood. But when you look at from top, the whole picture is phenomenal. It shows Aitreya Upanishad is by Atri, and Cosmic Purusha, what he is talking about is a reflection of Rig Veda, and she is actually practically producing the Cosmic Purusha within in her presence and giving the world ki it is Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh put together. The whole mystery is resolved, and from that Lord Shiva was there. Lord Shiva is this, and now we are trying to show ancient Indian wisdom so that our understanding of maths, physics, chemistry, biology, medical sciences, psychology is much more clearer, and the world can get impeccable wisdom as we proceed on. It might take me years. I think we are heading for uniform syllabus for every student without any confusion whatsoever. Now let's move on to the next picture. And this is the last picture I have been saying, and this is the summation of the picture. You can see the Western symbol of medical science and ancient symbol of Tantra, and with a certain combination show the world how parallel they are. Now, West also has got two snakes and in the middle, and India says Ida, Pingala and Sushmana Nadi. They don't call it that way, they call it staff, whatever they call it. Now you can see the wings of flower, they have a different concept, but I say that's the mind we are talking about it. Mind is capable of taking us to universal level. This is a medium which we have to use it to become quiet, not with the drugs, alcohol, otherwise. Without drugs, as a yogi, we have to learn to move on one by one, and that's it. And then go to universal consciousness. All the information of Rig Veda, all the Vedas, Upanishads, other thing is there in this, and also in the light of modern science, one by one. I think keeping on that picture, this is a complete spiritual science. So I'm sure you have got the kind of knowledge which was a story, which looked like fiction otherwise to everybody. Now when you look back with this kind of wisdom, you say what a kind of information is there in the symbol once you start looking at from a spiritual science angle. And I think that is my pleasure that I understand this and give the world impeccable wisdom step by step, one by one. I think it's a lovely from that point of view. And let me at this stage juncture say, I think thank you very much, and I want everybody to understand everything completely. And please remember, it is not knowledge for anything. It is knowledge to make ourselves healthy, wealthy, wise and happy. And if we want to not fall sick, nothing, we need a perfect knowledge of all this information. Our human body is a chemical factory. We can make poison with it, we can make amrit with it. When we want amrit, then we got to take things in the right direction, not in distorted form. Anything in small quantity is like amrit, nectar. Anything in large quantity can be a poison, is something massive which I have already given through my work. Now let's try to integrate and give the world perfect, impeccable wisdom one by one. Thank you very much.